criticism has never been bigger too. In a world of just like where so many people flaunt their achievements.
Yeah.
Now there's all this criticism to go with it, even if you do make it. It's a weird dynamic we've created.
Yeah, because I mean, then there's definitely like, you know, we talk about no excuses. It's like empowering, right? In a lot of ways. But then there's the other side of the coin where it's like the hustle culture, where it's like, okay, you feel like you can't slow down, or you feel like you can't take care of yourself in certain ways because there's no excuse to not do XYZ, or you always got to be like on the grind, and you can't take that moment to like pause and breathe or sleep, like the whole sleep when you're dead thing. It's like, that is toxic. Yeah. You know, that's not taking care of yourself either. So, and if that's what you want, then sure. But, you know, I think there's a time for everything, and I think there's a time to grind, and there's a time for rest, and there's a, you know, you just got to keep things in balance and serve yourself in the best way you can along your journey. But to make like firm statements like, you know, I never like sleep or rest, or I'm always on the grind, or I'm all, you know, like that, okay, maybe that sounds good for the moment or what you need to do for the moment, but I think it's also important to recognize the opposite of, just because we're in a world of no excuses doesn't mean you always have to opt into that framework and set yourself, you know, you don't always have to operate in that framework in order to be successful, you know what I mean?
And so. I think I was watching a video talking about it where they they describe sort of hustle culture as hyper-capitalism, where it's really just capitalism at the nth degree, where it's just all that matters is making the money. Are you making the money? Are you getting to the money? It's like, if sleep ain't getting to the money, are you getting paid to sleep? Right. Some people are. Like, some people stream that and get paid to sleep. I'm like, how'd you do that shit? Yeah, yeah, it's like, it's just hyper capitalism to where it's just everyone's just trying to make money. Money is driving so many decisions in the world to where we have environmental disasters happening, you know, and it's just like how dangerous that machine can be if not, you know, balanced with other people like chill. You know, like it's not about everything like this, making money, achieving goals, that's not what life's about, you know? And like, I like how you said framework, like that was a big word when I learned it, cause basically it's just perspective and how you can look at this, you know, multiple different ways and see something different, but it's still the water bottle. You know, it's just, I think it's important, and like, yeah, sometimes things are just seasons. Like, that works for right now. Right. That won't work. Like, you can't sustain that. Right. You know, like, or it would be unhealthy to sustain that for a long time. Like, and yeah, that's a big thing with comic creators, like artists, like a lot of people who make these really successful mangas, or like Japanese comic books, they work themselves to death. Like, some people, like a real famous one put out his workflow schedule that he has for the week, and it's just like work, sleep, work, you know, eat, work, you know, it's just like that's just too much. And like, I was trying to think about that, because I remember when I started this year, I was like, oh, now that I've got the resources, I'm gonna do all these comics I've been wanting to do. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna do that alongside of all these other things, you're gonna be busy all the time. So when are you gonna have time for your family, your friends, you know, just to hang out, watch TV, maybe read a comic book, you know? Like, it's just, it's very easy to get caught up in, But it's just not a good way to live life. And like that's why I think a lot of people try to simplify it to just happiness. Like, what's gonna make you happy? It's not about what's gonna make you rich. What's gonna make you happy?
Yeah. And Carrie and I were just having this conversation earlier today, but he read some article about like people that had retired or something like that, or I can't remember, but basically the summary was about like what will make you happy in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like connections to people, and it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because when the work is gone and when it's time, like you've made all your money and all of these things, like, and your kids have grown up and they are doing their own thing with their lives, what are the other remaining like connections, and what other things have you fostered in your life that would bring you happiness?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, it can't always be about work all the time, you know what I mean? Like, it might bring you a lot of success by someone's standards,
right.
Maybe even your own standards for that period of time. But is that what your standards are going to be when you're old and gray?
Come on, Benny, man. The kid is a L7 Weenie.